You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, this is really disappointing. President Trump has had many people in his inner circle go on to betray him. The most recent high-profile example, of course, is Ron DeSantis. And something came out with Kayleigh McEnany that I want those of you that are listening to this program, when we're done with this, leave your thoughts in the comments of this episode. Do you think Kayleigh McEnany has betrayed Trump? I want to read through this article, and then we'll talk about it. Now, she's filling in that 8 o'clock time slot, Tucker's old time slot this week. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that she's outnumbered, but she made some comments, Kayleigh McEnany, about President Trump and Ron DeSantis. And this is where we got to ask ourselves, is there a betrayal going on? Listen to this. Former White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, now keep in mind that she is the former White House press secretary for the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. Kayleigh McEnany predicted that President Trump's lead over other rivals for the GOP nomination will shrink once Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joins the race. Now, I'm going to read the rest of this. She gave an interview where this came out. This is why I'm asking the question, did McEnany betray President Trump? And I think she very well may be. And I'll tell you why. What she said, word for word, is what Ron DeSantis has said about the polls. It's about there's that one congressman that endorsed him twice, okay, said that. And I've also heard this from, I'm sure I've heard this from Karl Rove before we turned Fox News off in this home, that, DeSantis will go up in the polls once he announces. And when I hear Kayleigh McEnany using a Ron DeSantis talking point that I've heard come out of Governor DeSantis's mouth, that makes me think she's angling for her old job back at a DeSantis White House. So let's go through this. So former White House press secretary Kayleigh McEnany predicted that President Trump's lead over other rivals for the GOP nomination will shrink once Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joins the race. McEnany said this in an interview on America 180 with David Brody on Friday, that she expects the Republican nominating process to be defined by the primary debates with the candidates, but how the primaries will proceed is unclear. She said DeSantis has done a phenomenal job as governor of Florida and has many achievements to mention during the debates. Now, I got to tell you, okay, we're in Florida, and I keep hearing, and I know Kayleigh McEnany lives in Florida.
She's a Floridian. She went to University of Florida.
Yeah, and her husband, I think, played for Florida State baseball team. Or was it UF? He played at one of the college. Florida.
But I know she went to U of F.
She lives over in the Tampa area,
right,
of Florida, which is on the Gulf Coast of Florida, and we're in South Florida on the East Coast. And I'm not saying that Ron DeSantis has not done a good job as governor, but they keep talking about his achievements. He has a couple of achievements, but they keep talking about achievements without being specific. I will say last year when the Gulf Coast got hit by a major hurricane, the worst hurricane in like a century, that he did a phenomenal job in the aftermath of the hurricane. In fact, one of the islands in the Gulf of Mexico, the road was destroyed to the mainland, and he got the road rebuilt quick. So he did do a good job there. And I give him credit for that.
I think he's been a great governor. I don't want to take that away from him. But he's made some colossal pivots that have not been good. And I agree with you. She's angling for a job, but it's not to work for him. She wants to have her own show on Fox. And right now she's like heading up the couch.
Like Dana Perino.
Yeah, she's like heading up the couch on Outnumbered. You know, she used to intern for Sean Hannity.
That's right.
She has a long history with Fox News.
I forgot about that.
Way before she worked for Trump. So she's been affiliated with Fox a long time.
Maybe that's how she got the job with Trump.
And yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure Hannity helped her.
I forgot about that.
You know, but I think she's angling for her own show. She's filling in for Tucker this week. Not saying she's going to get that spot, but this is the first time she's hosted her own show on her own. And, they might put her in for Martha McCallum or something. You never know. They start shifting people around. Once a year, they do these big changes in the lineup. And I think there's a lot more money in that than working for the president.
I think you're right. Dana Perino,
she's making big money now.
Dana Perino was press secretary for W, so I guess she feels she's the younger blood here. Okay, so it goes on.
Yeah, so she's going to say what Fox wants her to say, which is pushing Ron DeSantis.
That's a betrayal of Donald Trump. She's betraying the man who made her famous.
I agree.
Polling suggests...
among many.
Yeah, polling suggests that President Trump has this wide lead, but I think that once Governor DeSantis declares, you're going to see the lead tighten. McEnany said he hasn't even declared his candidacy yet. Come on. I just don't believe it. I know that's what they believe, but I don't see that happening. This is not the 80s where we have to wait for him to go to Iowa and say, I'm running. We've known for months.
Plus, when he comes out on the stage and announces and people see him bobbing his head, and once he goes up against Trump, that has not happened yet. They've been sparring. They've been, going back and forth on Twitter or social media. But once he's on that stage, and let me tell you, he's lost about 50 pounds and he's about 5'9". He's going to look diminutive next to Trump. Trump is a big dude. He's 6'2", 240 pounds. He's like a linebacker, and DeSantis is going to look like a Mike Dukakis next to him because he's lost so much weight now. If you see his last interview on Newsmax, I can't believe how thin he got. He looks like Don Knutts. So he's going to stand on the stage next to Trump, who's a big, imposing guy. And you are going to see his poll numbers go down and down. He is not going to have these, that's Jeb Bush filling his head with that turtle and tortoise and the hair reference he loves. You are not going to see him have a jump, maybe a couple points in the beginning, but that is not sustainable because he is not ready for prime time. He's just not. He's just moving too fast.
Yeah,
he's not ready for it.
They released a promo for McEnany filling in for Tucker this week, which of course we will not be watching.
No,
I'm not going to watch that.
Resist the temptation.
Yeah, no, and I hope you all are maintaining your Fox News ban. We have.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. So this is the promo, which I didn't get off of Fox. I saw this on Twitter. So when I play clips from Fox, I've not been watching Fox. I'm not grabbing the clips off television. These are things I see on social media or on a news story.
Right.
So this is the promo for McEnany filling in for. Well, I say filling in for Tucker. It's I guess. What else do I say?
Well, he's still under contract, so yeah.
Kayleigh McEnany hosts Fox News Tonight all this week, taking on the top stories with honest insight on the tough topics. Kayleigh McEnany has you covered all this week.
Wow, all this week.
Well, I tell you what's going on here, okay? It just occurred to me. They have lost so many viewers, okay? Like 2/3 of their audience, according to Megyn Kelly. If you watch her on YouTube, she breaks it down every day. The reason they got a lot of people at Fox. Why do you think they're putting Kayleigh McEnany in that spot? Because they figure Trump people love her. She worked for Trump. And if they put her there, we'll start watching again. That's exactly what they're thinking, that they're going to give her that spot and the Trump people will come and watch because they like Kayleigh.
Like I said,
don't you think that's their logic?
Yeah, possibly. They'll probably carry the next Trump rally, maybe. I was talking on last week's show. I said, short of hiring Don Jr. to take over that time slot, nothing's going to get MAGA people back to Fox.
That's true. I would definitely watch him, but that would be all I'd watch.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Paul Ryan has destroyed that network, and I don't know what they were thinking hiring some political hack to run this network, but he's made some he has allowed his personal feelings about Trump get in the way of business, and he's made a lot of horrible business decisions, and they continue. I mean, they did this whole thing where they were bringing on all these liberal commentators, not to mention the other thing I won't mention, that happened that really was the start of all this, and they've just made one bad decision after another, and firing Tucker has been just the culmination of Paul Ryan's personal vendetta against Trump, and as long as they keep him on that board, he's going to destroy that whole company.
Well, the news business in general, you've always heard people say that are in the news business, the national news, the news isn't profitable, it loses money. The news has never been in the business of being profitable. The news is owned by massive corporations, and what their goal is to drive public opinion in certain directions that benefit their other interests. Like Fox News is just getting destroyed in the ratings, right, because of the Tucker firing. Rupert Murdoch may not care. You know, he may have, at that Murdoch level, they may have made a deal to get some other business things going that'll make them a lot more money than they're losing with Tucker gone. You understand what I mean? There's a bigger picture that goes on.
Yeah, like
with
more
these people.
Different advertisers.
It's not advertisers. They got all kinds of businesses and investments and different things going on. So it very well may benefit some of their other interests far and above what they're losing with Tucker leaving. They obviously at Fox News don't care. We're 2 weeks into this, and the Fox boycott is holding strong.
Well, I'll disagree with you on that. I think they care very much. And Megyn Kelly said they care. She said, don't kid yourself. But I think they feel it will wane, that after a few months that people will come back, they will forget. People have short memories, and that's what they're counting on. I'm sure they knew it would be rough, and I'm sure they're telling Hannity and them, just keep doing what you're doing. They will come back into the fold. Believe me, they care that they've lost that. They're not viable if they don't have viewers.
The on-air people do, because they are talking to a lot less people than they were talking to.
But I think the network cares.
And to go on the air and know that your audience is half of what it was 2 weeks ago, or a quarter of what it was 2 weeks ago, is difficult for an on-air person.
Plus to have Rachel Maddow beat you and have, when you're used to having millions of people watch you a night and you go from 2 million down to 500,000. I mean, that's got to be tough.
But at the executive corporate level, the Murdoch level, they may not care about that so much because they may be making money on some other things with deals they made. To them, it's about the agenda. Trump must be stopped.
Well, I think you're right. That supersedes all of this. But I think they're also counting on people coming back.
It's not going to happen
eventually. And I think having Kayleigh McEnany in that spot, people people see her as pro-Trump. She worked for Trump, and they'll like that choice. And I think that's why they're putting her in there.
McEnany is the breadwinner for her family. Her husband doesn't play baseball anymore, I don't think. No. And I don't know what he does for a living, but she's obviously the breadwinner, and I think she has 2 kids now, right? She's had 2. So, she's doing what she thinks she has to do. But when she talks about, I talk about this betrayal of Trump by so many. I am of the opinion that anyone who runs against Trump in the Republican primary is a traitor. And I don't care who it is. And if you're supporting someone else, you're a traitor too. And what I mean by that, and this is such an important point, I know I say this a lot, it's important. This is not a typical election where we have 5, 10, 12 candidates and we all get behind our favorite team, and then whoever wins, we coalesce together. This is President Trump against the Uniparty. And anyone who is running against President Trump in the Republican Party, or anyone who supports a candidate in the primary other than Donald Trump, is part of the Uniparty trying to maintain control and keep it away from the government's control, away from the people. And all Republicans should be circling their wagons around President Trump. And I'll tell you this. What's going on in Tallahassee? This is strange. It's been a week and a half since the Republicans here in Florida in the state legislature passed the law allowing DeSantis to run for president and stay governor. He hasn't signed that bill into law yet.
Yeah,
it's been a week and a half.
Very interesting.
And
see, I don't think he wants to run now. I think he's really grappling with it.
Well, what could happen? It is very possible he does not announce he's running. It's more likely he will, but to sign the bill and then right after announce you're running, that's not very good PR. If he were to do it, you sign the bill and then as far away as possible you announce. To do both at once is going to be a very, very big negative PR thing, and it's very unusual. In fact, this may never have happened before, where a chief executive, because he's the chief executive of Florida, a chief executive signs a law specifically so that for them to benefit them directly so they can run for president of the United States and then announce they're doing it right then.
Incredible.
It's unheard of, and it's outrageous. It's disgusting. And I don't care what anyone says. He is not on a diet. He is in a deep depression. The weight loss that you see in Ron DeSantis is massive. He was his normal weight on his tour, his worldwide, I call it the Right Said Fred tour, but when he went to Japan.
Right Said Fred, why?
The I'm Too Sexy.
Yeah.
It's about traveling all over the world, He talks about it in that song, yeah. But the Right Said Fred tour, because he went on his world tour, he was his normal weight. And that was not that long ago. And this weight loss is not from skipping carbs for a few days. This is a weight loss, in my opinion, based on looking at Ron DeSantis, of someone who is not eating, period. And
it's too much, it's too fast, and he looks too thin.
Yeah, the polls have driven him into a depression, and this is important.
Or a panic.
Because I got some feedback from people thinking I'm being kind of petty about the weight. If he has lost this weight because he's fallen into a deep depression because he's destroyed his political future and he's dropped in the polls, I mean, he's in the teens. If he is having a mental collapse because he's dropped in the polls, he's not mentally fit enough to be the president of the United States. So it's important to get to the bottom of this weight loss. And I don't buy that it's giving up carbs and sugar. I don't buy it. Look at him in that Newsmax interview.
Yeah, he looks really thin, and it's happened really quickly. When you're really I don't know if it's depression or stress. When you're really stressed out, I've had this happen to me. You can lose like 30 pounds in a month, and I haven't lost that much, but I went through a stressful time with my health one time, and I lost like 15 pounds in a month because I was not eating. And your adrenaline's constantly going, which burns calories, and you're not sleeping. And I think one of two things is happening with him with not signing this bill to run. Either he's waiting for the opportune time to sneak it in, or he is really grappling with a decision here. He has a lot of people that have donated to him. He has $110 million. They've propped him up. They've pinned all their hopes and dreams on this guy. And I think they felt that by now he would be way ahead in the polls. Trump would have quit and he would be the man. And that's not happening. And I think he's saying to them, look, I'm not going to win. I'm going to destroy my career here. I can't do this. I got to wait. And they've led him down. He's been following the wrong Pied Piper. And they've led him down this garden path of destruction. And I don't think he sees a way out. And I think he's really the only thing he can do. But he's got all these donors to answer to. See, this is what the politicians have to deal with, is when people give them money, they owe them. They own their ass. So now he has all these people that have donated, all these people that have come out and met him and given 500, 1,000, this and that. They want him to run, and he's really obligated to do it. Even if the poll numbers are bad and his instincts are telling him it's not the right time, they don't care. They're going to say, sorry, we gave you all this money. You got to do it. So he's kind of boxed himself into this spot here. But I think the only thing he can do is come out and say, I'm not running. It's not my time. And I support President Trump. And I think if he does that, he can be redeemable. He has done a great job as a governor, but it is too early for him to be president. He is not ready for it. And when I saw him being coached, here he is being coached by Matt Gaetz, which I like Matt Gaetz, but he was like on a treadmill at the time trying to lose weight. It was bizarre while he was coaching him. And was like a junior congressman, like 25 years old, coaching this 38-year-old man. It just seemed a little strange to me. But when you see him being coached and the way he's talking, it's just so calculated and like predetermined. I can't explain it. Like the way politicians are, like it's like they're overthinking it. Trump just shoots from the hip.
Yeah,
he says what's on his mind. He listens to people, but he doesn't always take their advice. But I promise you, he doesn't sit there with junior congressmen advising him on how to handle things. Okay, he's got wisdom and experience, and he does whatever the hell he wants. But if you have somebody, and like I said, I like Matt Gaetz, but if you have somebody who's taking advice from a 25-year-old guy on a treadmill trying to lose weight, telling you how to handle things, I think that says a lot about you as a leader.
Yeah.
He's just not the leader I thought he was.
No, he's fake. Now, Mother's Day is this weekend, and Father's Day is a month after that. And, of course, there's still time to order from MyPillow.com for Mother's Day. And if you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you can take advantage of all the specials that are there, not just the ones I talk about. But there's an amazing closeout sale going on right now. And this is called the closeout sale, which will end when they're out of inventory. And that's going to happen fast with this promotion. And it's on the MyPillow bathrobes. The closeout sale is with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at MyPillow.com, is just $59.98. That is a massive, massive discount. $59.98. All sizes, all colors, both the heavy or the light robe. They have a whole bunch of new colors that mom or dad would like. And, Father's Day, like I said, is a month after Mother's Day. And this closeout sale probably will not be around at Father's Day because it's going to end when they run out of inventory. So this $59.98, you should order one for mom and dad. Keep dad's until next month and give it to him. It's a great deal. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane, Kane, and do your Mother's and Father's Day shopping. But the MyPillow bathrobe closeout sale, just $59.98. That's a great deal. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to elevate your living space with style and comfort? Look no further than nybusiness.store. nybusiness.store is committed to providing top quality products for your home, both indoors and out. Check out their fantastic selection of outdoor chairs, tables, and benches, as well as non-slip rugs, stylish curtains, bed sheets, pillow shams, and doormats. Make sure you don't miss out on their amazing swivel patio chairs, stackable patio chairs, outdoor sectional footrest, and picture frames. And the friendly, knowledgeable team at nybusiness.store is ready to assist you with any questions you have. Visit nybusiness.store and add a touch of elegance to your home. Be stylish. Be their customer. nybusiness.store, your destination for high-quality home products. Get the competitive edge with Client Hub X, their online business growth strategy consultation session. Looking to grow your online business? Look no further than their online business growth strategy session. Their team of experts has worked with some of the biggest brands in the world and will be involved in formulating a customized strategy tailored to your unique needs. From avoiding common mistakes and pitfalls to learning from the best, their team is here to guide you every step of the way. Their easy to implement strategies are designed to help you achieve your online business goals quickly and efficiently. Whether you're a startup or an established business, their service is perfect for anyone looking to take their online growth to the next level. Visit macforddigital.co. That's macforddigital.co. Podcast listeners, there's a podcast you will want to add to your podcast playlist, the Voice of Adoptees podcast, with host David Shunk. The goal of the podcast is to empower and connect adopted people across the globe. Host David was adopted from Russia, and each week he shares heartfelt stories and life-changing moments from parents and children who have walked the path of adoption. The podcast explores the adoption process, support structures, and the incredible gift of unconditional love that adoptive parents provide. Voice of Adoptees covers important topics about the life of adoptees, like the impact of DNA testing and the importance of understanding and knowing your genetic heritage, as well as sharing heartwarming stories to thought-provoking discussions. They've got it all on the Voice of Adoptees podcast. There are new episodes every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcast. Also, learn more on the podcast website, voiceofadoptees.com. Don't miss out on these life-changing stories. Add the Voice of Adoptees podcast to your playlist right now. Are you tired of sifting through biased news stories? Are you looking for a news source free from personal opinions and obvious political bias? Look no further than NewsGPT.ai. NewsGPT.ai is the world's first news channel generated entirely by artificial intelligence. That's right, no reporters and no bias. The sole focus of NewsGPT.ai is to provide you with accurate and reliable news for free. Unlike other news sites, the stories on NewsGPT.ai are not not influenced by advertisers, political affiliations, or personal opinions. Everything you see is generated by AI, ensuring that all stories are fact-based and unbiased. NewsGPT.ai is committed to delivering the news you need to know in a way that's easy to understand and free from any agenda. Stay informed with the top AI-generated stories delivered directly to your inbox. NewsGPT.ai. Real news by fake people.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. All right. So they had two tragedies in Texas, right? The guy in the Range Rover that ran people over, and then the shooting over the weekend where multiple people were killed. Terrible, tragic things. Both of those incidents were Hispanics, right? The shooter was Hispanic, and the driver was
both
Hispanic.
Killed 8 people.
Did the driver kill 8 people?
Yes, he did.
Okay, because I was getting confused by that because the number was the same. The driver had all kinds of weird tats. Some are saying MS-13 tats. I don't know. Now, the shooter in Texas, they're calling him a white supremacist and white nationalist, even though his name is Garcia. He's Hispanic. And I was talking this morning on the morning show. You can't be a white – that's our cat, Sagwa, meowing. You can't be a white supremacist if you're not white. You know, as woke as – this country has gotten, the Nazis and the white supremacists they're against diversity, and they have not diversified their ranks and have affirmative action quotas.
No, they believe in the Aryan race. I mean, they are, they believe in what Hitler believed of the Aryan race being supreme. And I just read on Twitter that the family of that shooter requested a translator by the police. That's how white he is.
Yeah, they don't speak English.
They don't even speak English.
They're speaking Spanish. So on the coven of The View, and if you don't know what a coven is, look it up and you'll get a chuckle. On the coven of The View.
They are a coven.
They are
ridiculous.
They're trying
around their big pot of frogs.
They're trying to tell us how you can indeed not be white and be a white supremacist, white nationalist. And, of course, they bring in Ana Navarro because she's Hispanic, and the guy is Hispanic, but he's a Hispanic white supremacist, and she explains it all.
We all have to remember that the head of the Proud Boys, his name is Enrique Tarrio. The Proud Boys is a white nationalist group. Look.
Okay. Let's just stop there. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know.
The leader of a white nationalist group has to be white for it to be a white nationalist group. The white nationalist,
exactly.
I will tell you, on a handful of occasions in my life, I have encountered white supremacist and racist, and I mean
from being on the radio,
real deal. Well, not just being on the radio. I've met a couple Klansmen from being on the radio. I was in a local grocery store here in Florida a couple years ago. I talked about this at the time, and there was a guy in the milk aisle. I was buying milk. He was buying milk. He bought white milk too. And I've come to think of it, I'm serious. And he had a Ku Klux Klan T-shirt on, and it had a little patch. It was faded out, like it was screen printed on there. It said Knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. It was
that guy was like old. I remember he was like
scary.
70.
Right?
He's like old school.
Yeah, it was. I was telling you about this guy. He was an old man, and it was scary. And when I was younger, and I came to Florida before I lived in Florida, I was up in another part of Florida than we live in now, and there were a Klan there, and they were the Klan. White nationalists and Klansmen are scary, and I'm white. They're scary. And I'm white. I'm here to tell you, they're scary, scary people. And to say that I'm not rendering an opinion either way on the Proud Boys, other than this: white supremacists and white nationalists do not let non-white people in, especially as their leader. And when you hear this idiot on The View here say that, and she does it with the Spanish accent, Enrique is the head of the white nationalist organization. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It really, truly is.
She says more stuff that's stupid, too.
I'm going to play the rest of it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And this is textbook George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah.
2 + 2 = 3. Don't believe your lying eyes, right? Don't believe your lying ears.
Well, what you have are people that are bigoted towards whites, and they want to throw everything in that basket. Anything bad that's going on in the world, it's the white man's fault.
Toxic
the Proud
whiteness.
Boys or groups like that have nothing to do with race. There were black guys in that group, white guys, Spanish guys. It's not a racial group.
It's not a white nationalist
They have
group.
Another agenda that has nothing to do with race.
And I don't want anybody to think
it's ridiculous.
Obviously, we're not defending white nationalism. What we're explaining to you is that it's what Kathy just said. What the left want to do is anything bad, it's white people.
Right.
Even if it's not a white person.
And you know why they're doing that? Because they are losing the minority vote in droves. And I've said this before, in Chicago alone, south side of Chicago, I read this in the Hill or something, Trump got 500,000 votes. You don't think that scares the hell out of the Republicans? They are losing the minority vote. Look at Dade County. They flipped it. It's red. It has not been red in so long. So this is all about getting people back on the liberal plantation. Creating the big white enemy to manipulate minorities into believing that whites are against them, that we're bigoted, and it's all to get them back voting for the Democrats. That's what this is all about. It's a mind F.
Well, let me get back to The View before we get too far away. I'm going to rewind it and we'll start over. This is Anna Navarro.
We all have to remember that the head of the Proud Boys, his name is Enrique Tarrio. The Proud Boys is a white nationalist group. Look, being Hispanic or being black does not, or being anything, does not make you immune from being racist, from being radicalized, from being a white supremacist, from being evil, from being homicidal. And we are seeing it over and over again. There are people, they don't see themselves as what they are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, including her.
So she just said being black does not exclude you from being a white supremacist. Do they even hear themselves?
No, they really don't. They really believe it. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, they're drinking their own Kool-Aid that they're making. They really believe what they're saying. And when they say it, and it's so ironic because she said people don't see themselves. Well, obviously she's projecting because she doesn't see how stupid she sounds to say something like, and this is supposed to be a Republican, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
But Anna Navarro is a nasty, bigoted woman, and she is a nasty woman on The View. I remember one time she was on an interview on CNN, and she started filing her nails when the guy was talking, and I thought that was so disrespectful.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't hear themselves, Brian. They actually believe it, and they're gaslighting everybody. They want everybody to believe it, and you know what? They're pandering to the minorities, to the Spanish community, to the black community. And I hope not, but some people will believe what they'll say that she's right. White Republican men are bad. This whole thing of villainizing white Republican Christian men is all about winning back your votes because you don't want to be affiliated with a party full of white bigots. Why would you want to be affiliated with them? What's wrong with you? You need to come back to our side. And all this stuff, they're bad people. They're racist. I mean, this is what they do. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's so insane. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And if you would like to support all of the content that I'm connected to, the podcast here with Kathy, my YouTube channel, the radio show with Steve Kane, become a patron of the program. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. There's a direct link on my website, BrianCraigShow.com, and the direct website address to our Patreon page is patreon.com/RealBrianCraigShow. And if you're a patron of the program, you get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air shout-out thank you on each and every podcast. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck D., Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P., Carlos, Paulette, John, Arctic Fox, David, and Richard. These are our top Patreon supporters. Welcome to you all. And again, the link to become a patron is in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And by the way, the Brian Craig Show podcast that you are listening to now is on all podcast platforms. And I do also upload the show to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show. Okay, so here's another fake Republican, Michael Steele. He's over on MSNBC. He's talking to Roland Martin, and they're talking about this tragic shooting in Texas.
How do we break this cycle? I mean, it's not like every 2 weeks, my friend. It's like every other day we're having these stories now about mass shootings.
The only way to change any of this is to completely wipe out the Republican Party. Somebody has to say it. Greg Abbott, the governor, is sick and demented. He has literally done nothing. Lieutenant Governor.
When he says wipe out, what does he mean? I mean, that sounds like not an appropriate comment.
Wait a minute. So Greg Abbott is sick and demented, but this guy wants to wipe out half the country. Okay.
Yeah, Roland Martin. Yeah, I like Roland Martin, the bass fisherman. I don't know if he's still alive. Remember him on TV?
I thought that name sounded familiar.
But this is a different Roland Martin. This is Roland Martin, and he's a jerk. But
that's crazy.
You know, what happened in Texas, we had these two tragedies, one with a gun, one with the car. The guy with the car killed as many as the guy with the gun. You say,
that's right.
If guns disappear tomorrow, sick killers would find other ways to kill people.
And look at all the regulations on owning a car. You have to register your car. You have to get your driver's license.
That's right.
You have to follow, there's strict traffic laws. You can't run a red light. You can't, I mean, there's more traffic laws than gun laws, but does that stop this person from, people that are evil will find a way to do what they want to do. And the real problem, there's a real anger issue in this country, and the media is really stoking that. I read a poll a couple weeks ago. They said, they did some poll across the country, and like 65% of the people blame the media for the division. And that's true. They just constantly divide people. The women on The View do this, get people angry at each other. I see video after video on social media of people in line at places and at restaurants and things fighting over stupid stuff, getting in fistfights, arguments, hurting each other, and over things. There's a real anger problem in this country. And people like that get on MSNBC calling to eliminate a whole party, that doesn't help. Joy Reid, what she says it does not help. You know, these people do not want to bring anybody together. Okay, they're not in that at all. They want to divide and conquer. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So the story's spreading around now. What you had mentioned earlier. Yep. The parents of the suspected white supremacist Texas mall shooter have requested a translator.
Exactly.
And according to the story, they need a translator, even though he's a Hispanic white supremacist.
Exactly.
Dumbest can be. They need a translator to translate English into Spanish, not German or, one of the white European languages. I mean, this is just insane. And, this narrative that's going on, they keep talking about how can we stop these things? Well, one of the ways you might stop them is to honestly address the issue. There were these two mass incidents in Texas over the weekend. Nothing could tell me that these are unrelated to the border situation. Texas is being overrun by criminals because of what's going on at the southern border. And I got news for you, guys. It is very, very important. It is very, very important to call them out that this guy is not a white supremacist. Same thing with the Proud Boys guy. He's not a white supremacist either. He's Hispanic. And if you let them get away with lying about something that's so obvious, how you might as well let them get away with lying about anything and everything.
There's a real racist movement against white people right now. And you see it all the time now. People just villainizing the white community and making it out like we're the ones that are bigots. But it's really the opposite, unfortunately. That's what's happening. But a lot of people really feel that way, that all the problems are coming from us. I mean, I don't know how they see that when you have these kinds of things happening. It's not a racial issue. It's not a gun issue. Like I've said, it's a mental health issue. It's an anger issue. It's people being divided. And there's always been bad people in the world, but for forever. I mean, with Cain and Abel, Cain killed his brother. But social media, the news, all these things are just making things so much worse. And I see all these young people, and you see videos in classrooms of kids, the way they act with teachers and all this stuff. There's a lack of discipline with these. That's where it starts at home, a lack of discipline. There's a lack of respect. These things are taught in the home. And when you have children being brought up, like with critical race theory or in school, and they're being taught from kindergarten that white people are racist, how can you create a unified country when you're teaching children this stuff?
Yeah.
It's child abuse to sit there. I mean, our daughter, when she was in elementary school, her best friend was a white boy. They were best friends. Like, I don't want to say his name, 3rd through 5th grade. They were buds, and he would come over and play video games all the time and hang out and stuff. He was a great kid. What would happen if she was taught in school that because he's a white boy, that he's bigoted? What if she had been taught that from kindergarten? That's crazy to teach kids that kind of stuff. When kids are that young, they don't see color like that. They're not tainted that way. That's the world teaching them that stuff. We're being taught that at home.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, it's awful.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's more to share. Do not go anywhere. There's a huge news story involving Joe Biden that you have not heard yet. We're going to get into after the break. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Robert Allen Miltenberg invites you to time travel with him to the Roman future. His new novella, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. It's the golden age of Rome, a time of peace and prosperity. And Scadius Commodius Lavatorius is its greatest scientist. But for all he's achieved, one question haunts him. Will Rome survive the test of time? There's only one way to find out. Come along on this cosmic romp of an adventure. See if you can read the signs any better than a brilliant scientist can. Prediction, science fiction, allegory, national glory. This is a satire at its most gladiatorial. Center stage in the Circus Maximus of your mind. A story of time machines and timeless politics, strange Roman cuisine and gambling parlor tricks, spinning gold and crossing the river Styx. That's the Roman future. Available on Kindle and paperback. Go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble now and visit The Roman Future by Robert Allen Miltenberg today. ChatGPT. Everyone's talking about it, but did you know that you can make money using ChatGPT? Get ready to make money easily and quickly using ChatGPT. With your copy of the must-read book, The ChatGPT Millionaire, making money online has never been this easy. Updated for GPT-4 from author Neil Dagger. This is the ultimate guide to creating passive income, writing engaging content, and finishing client projects in just minutes. With over 150 act-as prompts, you can use ChatGPT for whatever you need. Social media content, blog posts, video scripts, software apps. The uses are endless. Order your copy right now on Amazon and get a free ChatGPT prompt cheat sheet and no-nonsense guide on how to build wealth. Start your journey to financial freedom and order your copy of The ChatGPT Millionaire from author Neil Dagger on Amazon. Are you tired of feeling stuck in a job with no potential for growth? Do you dream of earning more money and providing a better life for yourself and your family? If so, listen close. Find the solution you've been waiting for at qr1.be/8w3r. There you will find a revolutionary opportunity to earn extra income and achieve financial freedom. With a huge compensation plan and life-changing products, this opportunity offers 6 amazing ways that you can earn lots of money. Imagine living the life you've always dreamed of, traveling the world, buying that dream car, and providing for your family without worrying about finances. And here's the best part. There's no monthly membership fee, and you don't have to purchase products to participate. All the products are made right here in the USA with the purest and healthiest ingredients, offering unmatched quality at prices up to 75% off retail price. Don't wait any longer to change your life. Visit qr1.be/8w3r. That's qr1.be/8w3r and learn about this incredible opportunity to start making the money that you deserve. This is your chance to break free from the daily grind and achieve financial freedom. qr1.be/8w3r. qr1.be/8w3r.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. This is from the Fox News website, okay? I'm not watching Fox News. The boycott continues. Okay, this is something that I saw and Kathy both saw on Twitter today. So it is the reason I say that is not to clear myself, okay? I just want to make sure that you guys are maintaining your ban on Fox News. If we break and people start going back to Fox News, it's hopeless, right? We've got to break Fox News. The moment Fox News officially becomes 2 or 3 in the ratings, that's a big victory. And it's a protest that we're doing here. But this story is on the Fox News website, and they're talking about Tara Reade, the woman who says she was sexually assaulted by Joe Biden in the halls of the Senate.
Yes.
And here's the headline.
This is crazy.
Biden accuser Tara Reade posts cryptic message about death before potentially testifying to Congress. Listen to this. Tara Reade, who was accused Biden of sexually assaulting her in the 1990s, which the media don't want to cover. You know, they got this E. Jean Carroll lunatic that in 1910 encountered Trump on a biplane or dressing room at, I don't know I don't know what she saw. Tara Reade, who was accused Biden of sexually assaulting her in the 90s, tweeted a cryptic message about death before she potentially testifies to Congress following an invitation from Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And this is what she tweeted. Listen to this. I want to make something clear. This is Tara Reade. This is her tweet I'm reading now, okay? I want to make something clear. If something happens to me, all roads lead to Joe Biden, Reade wrote Sunday afternoon. Joe Biden and DNC political machine threats, bullying, and intimidation over the last 3 years will not work.
Oh, boy.
I am not suicidal, she added. The message includes a promise to testify before Congress to address what happened and what she knows. Reade worked as a staff assistant in Biden's office from 92 to 93 when he was a senator. I should not be under investigation, nor am I a foreign agent. I am a private citizen. I was a former staffer of Joe Biden's that has chosen to step forward to tell the truth. Reade continued. She added, the tactics using intimidation and bullying to silence me and suppress me using Department of Justice and FBI and social media will not work. Leave me alone. I will testify under oath in Congress if asked to do so and tell what happened and what I know. The Biden corruption must end, period, Tara Reade said. She concluded her tweet by thanking Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz for inviting her to testify and caring about the truth. You know, obviously she says that because of Jeffrey Epstein.
Right, yeah.
And there's a lot of people on the Clintons that had strange things happen to them. But that's Tara Reade, they don't even talk about her in the media. It's like it didn't happen. You know, Democrats, they just have they're like James Bond. They have a free pass, a license to do whatever they want. You know, by the way,
seems so.
This thing about white supremacists that they call, Nick Fuentes, his father's Mexican.
Yeah.
Half Mexican. His father's Mexican. How can you be, how can Nick Fuentes be a white supremacist when he is Hispanic? You know how they say, like, to be a made man in the mafia, you have to be able to trace your Sicilian roots back, all the way back. That's the same thing with the white nationalist. If you've got one drop of non-white DNA, you're out.
Well, what they're trying to do, what Ana Navarro said, what they're trying to do is anybody that's racist, they're aligning with the white community. whether you're black, Spanish, Asian, if you're racist, you're a white supremacist. That you fall under that umbrella. You can't just be like a black racist or a Hispanic racist. If you're racist, period, you're under that umbrella of white supremacy, even though you're not white, because they want to malign all white people.
What? It's like,
so they're lumping them in.
It's like that actress you were telling me about this earlier that plays the queen in that Netflix show.
Yes.
What's that show called?
Bridgerton.
She's a black actress. She plays the Queen of England. She's black back in the 1800s. And she was talking about the coronation and the royal family on the balcony. And she said that the balcony is
very white.
Very white. Well, it's the British royal family.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody put the White House balcony with Obama and his family, and there wasn't one white person up there, and it's okay.
And we didn't freak out.
So she's
they're getting a lot of heat for that, for her saying that. That channel has gotten a lot of response to her saying that. There's no need to be that way when you're sitting there and you're invited. She's British, and you're invited to comment on the coronation. Obviously, they brought her on because she plays a queen, but she's not a real queen.
She thinks she is.
On Bridgerton, she plays the queen. And so I guess they thought it'd be cool to bring her on because she plays royalty to discuss it. Well, I don't think they foresaw that happening. And I think it's really selfish of her to use that platform to push this whole narrative, again, of white people are racist, white people are bigots. That's just their family. I mean, the Tudor family goes back hundreds, thousands of years.
The Europeans
They're British.
It's a British royal family.
It's a British royal family that happens to be white. They go back hundreds and hundreds of years.
And by the way, they're not as white as they used to be because Harry.
Exactly.
Okay, so.
Well, I'm sure if Meghan was standing there, she would have made a similar comment.
Only one non-white, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people just live in this world where they're constantly looking for something to be pissed off about.
So the largest land invasion of the United States is about to occur from the southern border. And over on CNN, listen to this. Why are all these people massing to the U.S. border? What's their reason for coming here? Listen, this is CNN today.
What House Democrats want to also make sure that we focus on are these root causes of migration. People are fleeing difficult and dangerous conditions. They're fleeing economic issues. They're fleeing because of climate change, and they aren't able to farm the land that they used to farm
Okay, they're coming here because of climate change. So these are farmers whose farms have dried up, like in the Dust Bowl back in the 30s in this country. Whenever you're going, it was grapes of wrath here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They want to explain the migration. That's why they're explaining the migration.
Let me tell you why they're coming here.
They have to leave to survive.
This is why they're coming here. Free crap.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Biden's opened the door.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love Mayorkas, who goes on TV daily telling you that the border's not open. I mean, they said on the news today that he's the biggest gaslighter. I think somebody said this. I was watching Newsmax, that he's the biggest gaslighter in the country. And that's true. Mm-hmm. He goes on TV and tells you what you're seeing is not reality. I mean, of course the border's open. Him and that Jean-Pierre go on TV and lie every day about the border, how it's closed, how Biden has it under control. No, I saw on Twitter they had drone footage over today, and there's a line of thousands of people coming now today, getting ready to cross because this Title 42 is going to stop this week.
Well,
they have thousands and thousands, 1 million people since Biden has been in office have crossed the border. And let me tell you, I saw that drone footage. It's all young men, young men. I did not see any women or children. So I'm sorry, but this is not the way it's supposed to go.
Well, this is...
And they're lying to you.
This is the largest land invasion of the United States that's ever happened.
That's exactly what it is.
And there are tens of thousands.
Do you think other countries would put up with this?
No,
they would not.
No. They'd send in tanks. But here's the thing, and this is why the media are fake news.
Yeah.
Okay? This is a hot time of year. I was just outside before the podcast. I couldn't wait to get back inside in the air conditioning.
Yeah, it's hot here.
And they're crossing over in a desert area.
Yeah.
And if you look at that footage, there are tens of thousands of people. You can't even see the roads or the bridges. It's all people.
And Texas is hotter than here.
To move that many people,
the
infrastructure you need around that with food, water, there's obviously some type of sanitation going on and porta potties and things. this is a movement that I don't mean like an activist movement. This movement of people on our southern border is done with military-like precision.
Yeah, highly organized.
So it's not only highly organized, there's a major supply chain for a movement of people this big. When you see these people, too, that are massing on our southern border, they don't look dirty. Their clothes are clean. So they're bathing. There's all kinds of things that are going on in infrastructure that the media are not showing you. So who is behind that? And another question is, who's paying for it?
Exactly. Well, I think we know the answer to that. Our government and other liberals involved, high up, rich liberals are involved, donating money, paying for this, and then they go on TV and tell you they're trying to fix it. I mean, it's just a game that they're playing here.
See, and this is why I'm talking about the betrayal of McEnany with President Trump. There is only one man who can stop all this crap, and his name is Donald Trump.
That's true. That's true.
No one else can. And, part of that reason, there's a lot of reasons why. But one of the reasons is that Donald Trump is so independently wealthy, he can't be bought.
Right. I mean, look at Ron DeSantis. He has all these donors.
Ron DeSantis does not, listen to this, guys.
He is not his own man.
Ron DeSantis does not own a house or a car.
Yeah. No, he's owned.
So when you're talking about a guy who doesn't own a house or a car, he's trying to set himself up financially. That's what like Biden has done, and these other politicians have done. Yeah. Matt Gaetz comes from a wealthy family, and that's a good thing. That means he doesn't have to take part in the corruption. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she obviously does very well too. You want people in government that are rich before they get there, not people that are homeless and live in government housing like Ron DeSantis does.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he doesn't have a home and he lives in government housing. And he doesn't have a car, so he gets around on government public transportation.
And once they get to Washington...
It's not public transportation, but government transportation.
Yeah, and once they get to Washington, they go to all the parties and they see all the mansions and they go to the Hamptons and they get a taste of that life. They go on yachts and they want that. And they sell their soul and they will do whatever they have to do, including selling out the country to live that life and to have that life. It's like they forget all their morals and principles of why they went into politics in the first place. But Trump already lived that life. He's already had the life of a billionaire. So he's not impressed by that stuff. He's already been to the Hamptons and to those fancy mansions. He lives in one. So when he goes in that world, it's no big deal to him. He's got his own plane, his own jet, for God's sakes. So it's no big deal. But when you get somebody like Ron DeSantis there and he's hanging out with all these multi-millionaires flying on private jets, he's thinking, well, damn, I want to do this. I want this for myself. What am I, so that's when they start making the deals.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is amazing. Oh, now, if you saw my video over the weekend when I went to Mar-a-Lago and I went to the...
that was a great video.
If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. I went to the McDonald's where President Trump goes and everything. It was pretty cool. And
that's his favorite restaurant.
There's a funny thing about that McDonald's, okay? I love McDonald's. If I were on death row, my last meal would have to probably be McDonald's French fries.
Mine would too. There's just something about the McDonald's fries are so good.
The McDonald's fries are so good.
And the Big Mac.
But the McDonald's that Trump goes to, the people that work there, no one speaks English. It was the most difficult thing to order. And I don't speak Spanish. I almost didn't graduate college because there's a foreign language requirement. And Kathy will tell you, if it wasn't for Kathy, I'd be a college dropout. I would not have finished. Kathy got me through I took every language. I took French multiple times. I took German multiple times. I took Spanish. So you got to in Florida.
My problem was math. Almost cost me my degree for sure.
In Florida, and I'm sure this is true around the country, at the state universities, you have to have 2 semesters of a foreign language.
If you're a liberal arts major, like you and I were both history majors, so that's required. But if you're a business major, it's not required.
Yeah, I almost switched majors so I could get out of the. But I had so much time invested.
Right.
And so my Spanish isn't that well. And I was ordering McNuggets and I ordered a 6-piece McNugget and she didn't, and the girl at the register didn't know what 6 was. So I had to do it in Spanish. I had to count on my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 McNuggets. I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. And then she said, no 6 McNuggets. So I had to go, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez McNuggets. She said, oh, sí, okay. I'm not kidding.
You did learn some Spanish.
And I was counting on my fingers.
That's okay. It got you the order, right?
And she's laughing at me, but here she is, a mile and a half from Mar-a-Lago. She doesn't know the number 6 or 10. And
that's basic stuff. And too, even you knew the numbers.
Yeah. If you go back to that video, though, okay, I show the kitchen inside the McDonald's, and they're all talking no English. And we go to McDonald's around where we live, and I've never seen a 100% Spanish McDonald's except when I've been in Miami. So I was a little caught off guard by that. And if you saw one of Biden's dreamers cusses me out right in front of the McDonald's, you'll see in the beginning of the video.
And that's the McDonald's that Trump's been there many times because it's right a mile from Mar-a-Lago. It's right on the way.
Well,
they might have built that
when I went in there,
would you be surprised?
I had my MAGA hat on. Okay, and my Make America Great Again hat on, and I wasn't expecting them not to speak English. So when you see me filming in the kitchen, I wasn't just filming. I wasn't filming in the showing the kitchen to catch them speaking Spanish. I did not know that was going to happen. That just I was watching my food being prepared.
Right.
Okay, because I had the MAGA hat on, and I wanted to make sure there was no monkey business. But you go watch that on the video.
I always tell you not to wear your MAGA hat when you order food, unless you see them actually preparing it. Like
I usually don't. Okay, but this instance I did. But but anyway, when I was at Mar-a-Lago, this was amazing. I ran into 3 or 4 groups of people that were tour groups, and they were independent, and they stopped off at Mar-a-Lago to see Mar-a-Lago. They weren't with a travel agent. They were like a group of people, like a group visiting Florida. And I met this one group. They were from California. This other family, they were from somewhere. Then there were these. And it's amazing that Mar-a-Lago has become a tourist destination for conservatives when they're visiting Florida. They want to see Mar-a-Lago. And because I had my Make America Great Again hat on, they're asking me questions. So I was telling them how to go see Trump Force One, how to get there, which is, same street that Mar-a-Lago's
everything's on Southern Boulevard.
Yeah.
So when you take I-95, just take Southern Boulevard east, you'll see Mar-a-Lago. Southern Boulevard west, you'll see the airport.
Yeah, and when you go to the airport,
see Trump Force One.
I was explaining to them how to get to Trump Force One. I was telling them how to get to where they could see the front of Mar-a-Lago and everything else. And I was becoming kind of like a tour guide. But I got to tell you, there's no way that people travel to Delaware to go see Biden's house.
I can promise you.
And, when I see people, and every time I go up there, I run into people on vacation in Florida that are at Mar-a-Lago. And sometimes they're driving by, just taking pictures and things like this. And they always are so excited. They're like glowing that they're seeing Mar-a-Lago with their own eyes. And it just, President Trump is more popular than even we realize.
Yeah, I think so.
He really is.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the reactions of these people. And I remember when we came back on our listener cruise a couple months ago, some of our listeners on the cruise, they were from out of state and stuff like this. And I was telling them how to get to Mar-a-Lago and where to go and everything else. I mean, maybe on the next cruise, we'll have to organize like a shore excursion here in Florida to go to Mar-a-Lago, Trump Force
That
One,
would be amazing.
and show people
before you get on the ship.
This one couple, I ran into this one couple. They were from out of state, so I explained all the sites, and then I told them how to get to the church where President Trump and Melania were married. They're like, "Really, you can go there?" I said, "Yeah, it's open to the public." They were so excited.
You could lead tours over there. You could just hang out, and people that come by and charge them $5 a pop.
Maybe we should start a business like the Trump tour.
Seriously, just be on the side of the road with a little stand. Have some brochures.
Trump tours, like the guys in Hollywood, the map to the stars.
Yes, exactly.
And I could have the Kennedy compound, Rush's mansion.
You might
Epstein's
get
house.
I'm telling you. I don't. Yeah, you might get some business. I don't know if you want to lump Epstein in with Trump. That might not be a great idea.
I did a video a month or two ago that's also on my YouTube channel where I showed where some of the famous, not just Mar-a-Lago, but some of the celebrities I went to. I showed Rush Limbaugh's mansion, Dr. Oz, a whole bunch of other people, and I went by Jeffrey Epstein's house. And let me tell you, and you'll see this in the video. Jeffrey Epstein's house has been torn down and they built a new house, and it's very difficult to find. If you're a local, you can find it. they don't want people, they don't advertise it. This is Jeffrey Epstein's house and street.
Probably not a good idea.
But when I was in front of Jeffrey Epstein's house and I was on that street, it just felt evil.
Yeah.
I've never had that feeling before. It was like Amityville horror time. It really felt evil. Like there was like the ghost of evil on Jeffrey Epstein's street.
Maybe he's still hanging around there.
But anyway, guys, go and check out my YouTube video from over the weekend where I did this. In particular, when I visited President Trump's McDonald's. It's the McDonald's that President Trump eats at. And it was
a good video.
It is. And it was a strange McDonald's.
And you get to see the MAGA scooter 2.0.
The new MAGA scooter. That's
right.
Correct.
It's awesome.
That's great. All right, guys. Hey, listen. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one, get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way, too.
Go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.